All right, I'm going to take some calls. 866-582-9933. Who do we got? We got Delarian. Maybe it's DeLorean. DeLorean in Ireland. You're online.
It's Darren, Jason. How's it going?
Okay, well, I got an L in there somewhere. I don't know why they typed it to me, but it's ridiculous.
How's it going? I'm still listening as usual. I just wanted to ring on a few things. Actually, I got a pamphlet in the post there. I actually can't find it on it. It was about the swine flu, and I know a lot of my neighbours have been getting these pamphlets, what to do when you get the swine flu and how to diagnose it and what to do, if someone's sick in your home.
Mm-hmm.
All it is, really, it's just like, it literally says, well, all the symptoms are like a normal flu. So even if you have a normal flu, they're trying to make you panic, like here,
Yeah, but the normal flu might have a higher death rate. If the CDC's numbers were true, which I doubt that they are, you're literally talking about, I think it's 5 to 10 deaths a day from the regular flu on average, okay? Now, we've had supposedly in the United States 5 deaths over the past, the 15th? And when did they just start declaring this? I think it was the first week of April. So in 5 weeks, we've had 5 deaths, 1 death per week. That would mean that there would only be 365 regular deaths from the flu in the United States of America. And that's far off from what the CDC says. They say something like, I think it's in the thousands, maybe even 30,000. I know I read something, off of Reuters the other day, but they're making this out to be this huge deal. Can you imagine 4.9 billion vaccinations worldwide?
Oh, yeah. I know.
That's incredible.
I know, it's amazing. I was listening and I was just like, oh, Jesus, like.
Wiping data hits flu prediction. Forcing Google to delete user data after 6 months could dent its ability to predict pandemics such as swine flu, said the search giant's co-founder. See, the co-founder of Google is trying to promote that we need to spy on people and keep their information forever. Not delete it after 6 months. Let's just database it all. Let's database the whole 9. Larry Page said he thought more debates were needed around the issue of storing user data. Remember, databasing everything you do. The track and trace system is on. The European Commission wants data ditched after 6 months, but Mr. Page said there were benefits to users. More dialogue is needed with regulators, he told UK journalists at a Google event in Hertfordshire. He said Google's ability to plot and predict potential pandemics would not be possible if the firm had to delete search data after 6 months. When we released data about Mexico flu trends, we had a whole debate, he said. We were worried we would cause panic, but we decided that benefits outweighed the cost. They did cause a panic. People were wearing masks. People in this country thought they were going to get the swine flu, but the panic was caused by the mainstream media and the way that they handled it purposely, so that they could make 4.9 billion vaccinations and try to have a H1N1 vaccination campaign out of the CDC. By the way, this is sensitive but unclassified. It is not for further distribution outside of official use only. And again, thank God for WikiLeaks. They're planning on doing it. This is the CDC document. Do you understand? They want to put a needle in your arm for something you're not going to get. Do you get it? All right, let's go to Julian in Montana. Julian, you're on the line.
Hi, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I was listening to Alex earlier, and we just got to when the family came on, and I get a call from a relative of mine who is working at the White House.
Mm-hmm.
He's an architect. Apparently they're doing some things there, putting in a basketball court, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls me up. He's all frantic, and he goes, let me tell you what happened to me today. And I said, what? He goes, I got in this briefing with members of the Department of Interior and people from the White House, and at the end of it, he tried to shake this man's hand. The man from the Department of Interior says, no, we don't shake hands anymore because of the swine flu, okay? Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, you know what? Again, they're really going to try to vaccinate. Listen, they're not making 4.9 billion vaccinations to put them on the shelf. They're to put in the entire world populace. And I'm not reading CDC documents dated from Monday and Wednesday where they outline their day of planning for H1N1 vaccinations. We're going to need a story about this up on Infowars.com. I'm probably going to have to email these links to Kurt and Paul. But it is just incredible to me that, I saw the fear-mongering. It's kind of laid down. But remember, they set the framework where they said, as soon as flu season comes back, this swine flu is going to make a comeback. And you watch. I bet you that when the actual flu hits, they're going to be like 20 deaths in the first week, and they are going to play them up with the fear-mongering to the max. And they'll have this program in place, ready to go, to stick you in the arm with the tasty, delicious vaccination that we oh so love.
Well, there's more to it. My stepdad, he says, "What do you mean? What do you mean the swine flu?" The guy's like, "All these people have died." And he goes, "No, nobody's died. This swine flu, it basically doesn't exist." And well, the guy's like, he goes, "Well, you know why no one's died?" My stepdad says, "Yeah, because it doesn't exist." He goes, "No, because Obama saved us all by shutting down the schools."
Lord Obama, and he's saving us with the redcoats and City Year. I had a couple City Year emails where people are like, City Year's been around for so long, it's a great program. We know it's been around, okay? City Year is a relatively program up until now when it got full federal funding from AmeriCorps, and they're actually going to militarize it. Like, City Year didn't have anything to do with people doing jumping jacks before, but it will now. And it had nothing to do with knocking on doors throughout the country to get people to pledge service. It does now. It used to be about inner city youth and people taking care of their own, and it was a good program, and now they're going to hijack that program with their little fascist colors and their little, I need to shed my individual skin so that I can have my universal skin. We'll have a new world, a universal world, all together. I thank you for the call, Julian. Very interesting stuff. Obama saved us from the swine flu by shutting down the schools. Give me a break. That reminds me, Jesse Ventura was on Stern. I mentioned this yesterday on the show. We're going to play the clip where he talks about 9/11. We can't play much of it because there is some cursing here and there, but it's an interesting clip, and Ventura just is on a rampage. Love the Jesse, love the body. All right, folks, we are back. Still looking for this flu pandemic document. I was reading it on air yesterday, but it's section 1.51, compulsory vaccinations, quarantines, international health regulations. And remember, this is if they go up to level 6, Carly. They went all the way up to level 5. And when they went to level 5, they actually had to change the definition of a pandemic. Even CNN picked up the story. Level 5 is supposed to be a pandemic where there's massive deaths everywhere and there's an actual emergency. They changed the definition so they could bring it up to level 5. Now, they're not building the infrastructure of 4.9 billion vaccinations not to use them. Paul Hartman's still looking for the clip, but we are definitely going to play that in the next couple of minutes. I only had a 1-minute break, so I couldn't find it. On the other side, as we play it, I'm going to definitely find this WHO pandemic level document. But basically, the World Health Organization is part of the United Nations, and they are trying to bring in international law. I would advise not to take the shot, even if it's mandatory. And if they start quarantining people, that's the time to invoke the Second Amendment right that we have as a people, and I think that's very ugly and unfortunate, but we have it for a reason. Well, actually, you won't have to prove any of that, because if they declare pandemic level 6, and I did find the document, here it is, man, and I had to dig. It is the WHO checklist for influenza pandemic preparedness planning document, and here we are. I'm just going to read section 1.5.1, word for word. Rationale. During a pandemic, it may be necessary to overrule existing legislation or individual human rights. Examples are the enforcement of quarantine, overruling individual freedom of movement, use of privately owned buildings for hospitals. In other words, quarantining your building, your business, and saying we're going to use this as a makeshift center. They'll do that to schools. They'll do that to rec centers. They'll do that to community centers. They'll do that to churches, anywhere where they can have massive amounts of people. Off-license use of drugs. Now, off-license use of drugs means the drugs don't need to work. See, they're talking about the drug working and then having side effects. No, it doesn't even need to work. Off-license use of drugs. Compulsory vaccination or implementation of emergency shifts in essential services. These decisions need a legal framework to ensure transparent assessment and justification of the measures that are being considered, and to ensure coherence with international legislation, international health regulations. No Constitution, no Bill of Rights, no individual human rights whatsoever. You're not even a person. And they want to stick you in the arm. They want to give it to you good.
The GCN Radio Network, providing the world with hard-hitting talk radio. GCN, great talk radio starts here.